Hey guys. Hi guys. I am back again, and apparently my dogs are going to help me tell the story. Lacey, come. You stop being a butthead. They are very extra this week because I've got girls in season, and my lead mama is trying to boss the house around because of it. Okay, so what we are playing with today is the Under the Sea rollers and squirt bottle aimed at the naughty big mouth. Let's see if that helps. Okay, so we're playing with the Under the Sea rollers. I finally built them out into the double tall. These are tiny double tall, so yes, they're itty bitty. But you can still get a good visual on how the details work. They scale up in size as the size goes up. And oh my god. Girls, quit. Boys, quit. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. No, not you. They refused. They refused to let me have an easy day. Okay. I thought they were all in nap mode. However, me talking woke them up. All right, so so we got this one's jellyfish, octopus, octotangle, seahorses, sea turtles, angelfish, clownfish, dolphin, shark, and then there's whale. So that's those, and then I've still got all the texture, all the elements under the sea elements rollers to still play with too. So we might pull a couple of those into action. Yeah, so that's a couple of these collections. Is that all 3 collections of those? I think it was 3 collections. Yeah. So all sorts of just little bits and bobs to add to under the sea stuff. So and then I've had lots of requests for there's 2 main things that people keep asking me. Is can my rollers be used with food? Are they food safe? And I can't find enough information to tell me whether or not they're actually once they're cured, if the UV resin is because I mean it basically becomes a plastic, but I don't know for sure that it's safe for use with food. So when I recommend anyone who asks, what I recommend is finding some cling wrap. So we're gonna go ahead and just test that out real quick because I've been meaning to do that. Now I'm not going to try it with the Under the Sea rollers because they are really shallow designs. Um, in a larger format, they might be better, but in the tiny, they are definitely too narrow. So what I am going to play with is, let's see, this is sitting nearby. Yeah, that's a good one. So this one's a new pattern. This one is Sketchy Daisies. Yeah, Sketchy Daisies. And probably don't even need to get it wet since I'm going through saran wrap. So got our saran wrap on our clay. And we're just going to take a quick little pass. Lost rhythm because I'm used to having it a little stick. So it is not as deep as it would be without having the saran wrap in there. However, that is perfectly workable. So all you guys with the questions about food, and if these are food safe, if you have concerns about that, and they are dishwasher safe, I've run them through the dishwasher. There's no problem there. You can put them out in the sun and get them a little bit more cured because it's UV resin, so the sun will cure it more. Do some research. You might find some information that I haven't yet, or you can just run them through saran wrap and you'll still get a nice impression without it being in contact with your food products. So that is my recommendation there. So that is that experiment number 1. Check. Oh yeah. So set that aside. It may become something later, but we're playing Under the Sea today. So let's get back to that. And throwing out my saran wrap. Okay, so back here we got a little bit of gold residue there, so let's be gone with that. And so what I am thinking, a couple questions. Oh, the other question I've been having is, can we lay paint? People ask me all the time. They want to buy them for painting rooms and things. And first of all, you probably want the double tall, at least the jumbo, if not the extra large double tall or jumbo double tall. I don't have any sample. Actually, maybe I do. Okay, I only have a jumbo double tall. But this thing is massive. It's almost 12 inches, 11 inches. I think it's a little bigger. I don't think this is the biggest version. I think this is just one that's been sitting around for a while when I was first playing with the idea. But anything that goes jumbo gets massively deeper. The bigger the bigger the size between tiny, small, extra large, and jumbo. Pattern gets bigger with size going up, and the depth of the pattern gets bigger as the size goes up. So, yeah, people ask about these all the time. So, people wanting to lay paint on a wall or texture on a wall, I do have a jumbo double tall. It's only on the website. I am not putting it on Etsy because I have one printer that can print them, and I don't trust it. So I don't want to deal with Etsy volume orders. It's a very expensive printer. I don't feel like buying a second one for backup. So it is kind of one of those things that I will sell them, but I don't want to sell a million of them. You guys are welcome to order them. I'm not going to complain if you do. They're just not going on Etsy. And I can't ship them overseas. It changes the shipping rates, and yeah, it's just absurd. So no, they're not going on Etsy. I'm trying to add all the extra large double talls, so that puts an 8-inch roller on Etsy. Those print on my normal printer, so I can print them all the time. So I'm trying to get to that for you guys. Anyway, so a couple of the ideas I had was I want to play with acrylic paint on top of clay, but I also want to just see what it does on paper because someone was asking about that. So this is sitting in front of me, so we got chippy choppied. We're going to marbleize that. Actually, I am going to do this first, and then I will play with it on paper because then our acrylic paint can dry for a little bit, and then we can see what all we can do with it. So I'm just going to chop that all together. It's essentially, I think, turquoise, Sculpey. I think it's turquoise. And then there was a turquoise and white mix, was that middle blue. And then I've got the white is a 50-50 of pearl and white. So it's going to have a little bit of pearlescent in it. I don't think the turquoise was peacock pearl. I'm pretty sure it was just straight turquoise. And I don't think there's a metallic in the light blue either. But yeah, so we've got ourselves a nice little multicolor block. We'll run that through the pop machine. Got a little bit of color and texture. That side better than this side. I'm going to push these ends in a little bit. Sorry, try not to talk with that on because it's better. I'm going to just shove these ends in a little to try to kind of condition them up a touch because I don't want to keep running this through much more than I already have. I only want to do like maybe one more pass. So just kind of warming it all up and getting it to realize it's alive. Polymer clay is weird that way. It's been sitting around doing nothing for too long. It's hard to wake up. All right, I like that. Okay, rolled it all the way out to a 6, and I think that has a very pretty effect. I'm gonna have to put it over something to back it. Oh, and my roller was a little dirty. Should have gotten in there and cleaned that first. And go like that though, and just kind of scrape some of the dirty off. Ta-da! Mostly clean. All right. Where is that white mix? Yeah, I don't want to do it over gold. And that didn't give me anywhere near enough clay without stretching it out further. So now it's stretched out further and I need to back it so I can actually get some texture in it. On a 2, probably. And roll it out on a 3. All right, there we go. You want that side to be the top side. Stay stacked. That's what I actually flip you over. It's a good choice because apparently my roller's still dirty. There we go. We'll hide the dirty with the dirty. And I believe, yep, that side's clean. Okay, so now we won't, Yeah, we want the jellyfish to go that way. We're going to do the whole thing jellyfish. We're going to need embossing too, not debossing. Let's have a little fun here. My spray bottle go. I was using it to chase the dogs into shushing. I'll have to go free them here in a minute or release them back in. Where did I put my spray bottle? There it is, behind me. All right, we're definitely doing jellyfish. So this is going to be an embossing. Get wet. Use handles or don't use handles. It doesn't really matter over much, but oops. Some jellyfish going. And then I'm going to put some octopus on there. I'm going to stand up so I get a little bit more push. Now let's throw a couple seahorses on the end. There we go. Okay, so and again, these are the tiny version, so they aren't the deepest, but they're still pretty good and deep. And I did on the double tall stuff, I did kind of richen up the depth on it. Actually, I think that helps. Hold on. There we go. So yeah, okay. So we have our pattern in, but can't tell what the heck you're looking at because all the color. So top that off a little bit to dry it up. But to be honest, I probably don't even need that much. So, kind of the question I have today is, gouache paint or regular acrylic. So I've been playing with this. Sorry, I'm coming back. Hold on. These metallic gouaches for a while. They're really fun. I'll probably actually will use that navy. Pearl Midnight Blue. Yeah, that looks like that'll go well with this. So, and then I also had these guys. So it's their acrylic colors. And again, just a Amazon find. It's a nice big color box set. And they seem to work pretty good. But these are a lot wetter than the metallic gouache. So I wanted to check. I did recently order the regular gouache. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I may be saying it wrong. I'm sure I am. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of check these out and see how they compare to the actual acrylic. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little tiny dollop of acrylic. And the last time I tried to use the acrylic on something like this, it just seemed a little wet and a little runny. So let's see what we get. So I'm going to tappy, tappy, tappy. And I tend to use my fingers. I probably shouldn't. But I'm just going to use my hands to... Actually, that's a pretty brutal color. Lots of dye and it doesn't want to move. There we go. Okay. So that is the acrylic version. And I am finding that it's actually thicker than I thought it was going to be. Or than whatever I played with the last time. Now I know I like this pearlized stuff. A little dollop of that. It's so hard to remember how little you need of this. So I'm going to tap that in, tap it off a little, and we're going to just touch that to the top. So being a metallic, it's probably got a little bit of a translucent base to allow the metallics to show up. So to be honest, it looks like it's running better on the lower side of this. That is closer view. So even the metallic looks better over the darker blue. So, and now I'm getting very messy. Let's see if I can stay it all clean here. And then I wanted to play with, do I have a navy or? Okay, there we are. So these are the not metallics. So there's a nice dark gouache. Yeah. And there's a less dark, and then I've got my brighter colors. Let's start with the super darky one. Put a open, yeah. Drop down. So again, yeah, this is seems like it is thicker than the acrylic is. It's got more density to it. Got a little water on my finger just to try to get some of this to travel better. Oh wow, that's pretty. That's the darkest one I grabbed too, huh? Let's see. I'm gonna skip the middle dark then and go with this brighter one and see what color differences are. Ooh, that's a pretty teal. Leave a little bit of that dark on my finger. It seems like it's probably dried already anyway. Need a little bit of wet. Eat. A little too much wet. There we go. Yeah, that paints really nicely. All right, yep. So I'm still staying with this thing that I think the gouache stuff paints a little bit better for the finger painting than the straight acrylic does. Now that we've played with a little of both, let's go back to the acrylic and see what I think. So yeah, the acrylic's a little runnier and doesn't give me that heavier effect. I definitely need things wet. Too wet. But dark colors in this are not as dark as the dark colors in the acrylic. Doop-a-doop. There, we mix all the colors together and have some fun. And then let's go back here to this lighter teal. Yeah, most of these things, if they dry out on your tile, you can usually wet them back up and they'll give you a little bit more life. And then what was the metallic? Oh, you up here. You're already all dried out. Can I get you to come back to life? There we go. All right, so we will finish it out with a touch of metallic, if I can. There we go. And I am very messy now. And I might have enough pigment going that it's not going to go away. So you could definitely sponge paint this. Oh, you know another fun fact, is if you let all of this dry. No, Loki. Loki, no. If you let all of this dry, you can rake it up with your knives and use it as flaking and flicking. Hold on. Eat your bad self inside. Okay, we're back. All right, so I like it. It's fun, but now I feel like we need something gold or something. Where are my metallic? Oh, I gotta figure out which one of you was metallic, or no, you're all the gouache paint. You're the metallic. Okay, you were there. Let's go with something. Like that kind of gold? Yeah. Or more of the Aztec-y gold. Is it gold? Is it silver? It's probably gold. Let's go there. All right. Silver, any options? All right. So let's drop a dollop of gold in this mix. I did have a little bit of an oily something in there. And we go doppy, 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 doppy. There we go. Because we're a little bit damp in there still. Getting a nice little blending effect. So we're using all that dark blue for our shadowing. And just kind of trying to not paint everything with the gold, but bring up just enough. We don't overkill our shadows. So, I like it. I like it a lot. Nice bit of depth. Nice bit of fun effect, fun highlighting, accenting, a little bit of that dark blue down in there. That octopus is really fun with a touch of gold and a touch of blue. And yeah, all right, those work great. I'm totally stoked. So I'm going to leave this to dry for a little bit. And I got acrylic paint everywhere. Yeah, it's sort of part of why I haven't painted in a long time. I'm messy. I haven't set up a space for painting where I can just be messy and enjoy it. Okay, so that needs to go back into the metallic thing, wherever you came from, and then you guys both came from here, I believe. Okay, so now I don't think I'm going to try the gouache stuff because it definitely dries faster and is thicker than the acrylic. So I've got a couple options for acrylic, but to start, I'm going to just start with this. Let's do this phthalo blue. It's pretty. It looks like it's pretty. It's got a little purpley tone to it. All right. And for ease, because it's just what I'm used to, I'm going to stick with the tile. But we're going to go ahead and paint onto some paper rather than, at least to start. I do need my handle back. I sent that flying a minute ago. All right, so I always keep little quartered regular printing paper for burnishing stuff. I always have a pile of that sitting nearby. So, question is, how are we going to get paint onto a roller? And I was going to start with the jellyfish because I think that was one of the requests for, can I paint with this? So I am actually going to probably start with getting it wet. And I've got a little spongy piece here. I'm thinking either we're going to dab paint on or dab paint on the sponge and then just try to roll it over the sponge to pick up paint. That might be the easiest way to do this. And it's picking up gold off of my hands. Where did my paper towels go? Move my paper towel roll off of the table, trying to clear some space. And what happened? I filled the space. To be expected. All right, so let's see. Oh, that is blue. That was going to be a little bit more purpley. That's okay. And I'm going to add a little water because that did seem like it was a little thick, and it definitely was happy to stay thick for a while. All right. Don't know why I had to put my finger back into it, but here we go. So I'm going to pick up a little onto here, get off my finger. Don't have to finger paint everything. Alrighty. Oop, nope, don't put the other side. Oh, okay. Well. All right. And let's see what we get. So if you find a better delivery system for paint, I think that would actually work quite well. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here is I'm pretty sure if you use like a household paint and you found a good sponge system that's not quite so holy, maybe even using something like a paper towel. Let's try this. Go hose that out here pretty quickly. What if I was to put all that up onto the paper towel and then roll it into the paper towel to pick up the paint? No, don't have enough paint down. It definitely gives you the stampy. So yeah, you're getting a decent bit of the details coming through. But all right, so now the other thing I can do is I have some stamp pads and that's dangerous because I'm pretty sure that I think the last time I played with them, they totally died out. I'm gonna have to get that into the dishwasher and wash into some heavy soap and water to get that clean, but we're mostly there. Actually, the one thing I will say is this does give you an idea of what details make it towards the outer layer. But yeah, so the reason these work great for texture is because they push and pull. The reason they don't work great for paint is because they push and pull. They're not an easy design. So something like even say these guys, most of those details are that outer edge. There's not as much of a in and out, back and forth. These guys are an excellent one for painting because all those little flowers are on the outside edge. So just watch that outside edge roll. All the details pretty much make it all the way out. Does that even include those little dots in the middle? I think so. So this will lay paint pretty well. These are going to be trickier. So what was stamp pad? Oh, it was sitting right here. And if I remember correctly. Oh, wait, no, this was watermark stamp. Why are you watermark? Now I don't remember why I bought you. Translucent images. Don't remember. Are you one that takes? Well, they're translucent, so let's just see what translucent means. Probably is going to pick up a little of the blue, so let's just pick a different one for the moment. You know who will probably do well is the clownfish. I don't know how much of that seaweed makes it out, but let's just see. So, still have a piece of paper. I'm pretty sure people are using these for also for jelly plates. Okay, so I definitely transferred something, but I don't know how you find out what that is. Unless we put a little embossing powder on there, but I don't think that's an embossing pad. I'm gonna have to do some dismantling to find embossing things. Putter boxes are in my way. Okay, let's see. There's embossing ink. There's embossing powders. And I don't know where that black evil stamp pad is. It definitely stamps things. But let's see. So that's an embossing pad, and you do look wet enough. And I've got plenty of embossing powder, so just for the heck of it, let's drop a little of this on there, but I don't know that it'll stick or not. Oh, yep, that is what it is, essentially. Okay. So, as I assumed, clownfish, you don't get a whole lot of the other guy. The seaweed doesn't come all the way through. Oh, look, I happen to have a heat gun sitting right here. All right, so set, hopefully set. Yep. Put those guys in. And that's as close as we're going to get there. So, oh, shouldn't have been aiming that at my pad, but nope, that didn't set. Okay, probably not embossing powder. All right, let's try something. This one should lay because most of our details are at that outer edge. So this should be one of our best bets. Let's try actual embossing powder or embossing ink. Hopefully. Yeah, you are wet enough. Okay, so we're going to roll you down. I want purple metallic. Why not? Get you away from here. That's been sitting around a while. Okay. So like I said, that garbage can to shimmy and shake it. Okie dokie. So yeah, go ahead and rinse this off too. I'm thinking about it. And let's hit that with a heat gun. Might need a little bit minute longer than I did the last time. How long would it take to set up embossing powders anyway, guys? What the heck? Not something I play with often, can you tell? Come on, you can do it. There you go. Yeah, there we go. Have them because they make great grainy effects for polymer clay. And then they set up and bake into your polymer clay as you're working it. So that's why they sit around here. Probably shouldn't be doing that on the silicone mat. That looks a little mad. All right, we're going to call that good enough for an experiment. So that's the thing. So yeah, anyway, so the coral reef one, that one will imprint. That's actually a nice little paint layer. This is not the easiest thing for seeing what's working though and what's not. So let me see. Tiny little ink pad full of green ink. Are you wet enough to transfer? Man, I am making a mess of myself. You are transferring, but you do feel kind of dried out. Yes, that you're an acrylic ink. No, I think whatever you were cheap and you're not going to work. Let's see. Maybe. Okay. So again, like I was saying before, some of those details make it all the way in, some of them don't. And this poor roller is going to be so dyed by the end of this. I think that ink pad is no longer got any worth left. So you're garbage. Probably like one of those things you can buy for $1 when you're walking out of whatchamacallit. Not Joanne, but Michael's or something. One of those. I'm so sad Joanne Fabrics is gone. That still makes me sad. It was a fun store. Yep. Okay. That totally dyed this. So that's the one thing I do find with running inks on these is they dye the heck out of them. But it just the dye sets in and like color dyes with it. So I guess that makes it a little bit porous. So maybe trying to do whatchamacallit. Oh you. Arrange your perfect medium. You know what? I might have more stamp pads somewhere. Hold on. Now that we've got that one messy. We get more inks. I know, like half of these didn't work great. Still playing with blue things. So, you ink? No, see that's the problem with some of these is they got all dried out and funky. Yep. So that's the flaw with trying to use these for this experiment. Any of you work? Nah. Okay. So if we want to play more, we got to figure out how to get paint on these. I can definitely go to wait a second. That might be a good workaround. A little bit of hair and dust, but I think these were something to do with those stamp pads. But I do think they will work. I need to look up what that Versamark does. So strange. I don't remember why I bought it. I must have bought it thinking it was going to do something I wanted it to do. Okay. Finding myself wanting to play with some of those embossing powders too. I don't know if I really want to put those away. Actually, I'm gonna leave those hanging out because that sounds like fun. And if I don't leave things out, I forget they exist. That sponge is cleaned. Okie dokie. Yeah, we're gonna try Stamp Stampy with some Painty Painty. So let's go that route. And we'll stay with dark paint just because it helps make sure. Let's do this dark violet. Why not? Okay. Thinking again, we might want to get things wet. I don't know. Let's definitely use the handles. Again, we know this isn't the best one at laying paint, but let's see what's possible with it. So let's stamp it all up. And because paint likes to dry fast, we're getting somewhere though. Let's try adding a little water. And replay the stamp, see if I can't get more even spread of paint on it. I think I'm going to remove the one roller. All right. Sad. So, yeah, very light stampy effect. More paper towels. Need a big bin of water. Should have started with the Tupperware full of water. All right, so now let's swap this idea to something that I know will lay paint. This one was asking for it, wasn't it? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with this idea of getting not the paper. The roller is self wet. Oh, I'm so used to playing with clay anymore. This is absurd. All right, give me a handle set. Even though they probably are gonna mark the paper a little bit too. So you're now a sprayed piece of paper, so you can go away. All right, you see how nice and consistently that outside edge of pattern now has paint on it? That's what I was referring to. As far as the build of the roller goes, that is built more for stamping or paint laying. Again, you're only going to hold paint for a certain duration, but that first roll is perfect. And then beyond that, you can keep playing with it. So, Mokume stamping version works the best, as I expected. And some of these lighter weight versions, I can run through the clay lightly, because trying to make them paint is too much of a pain for showing samples of how they paint. But if you run them through the clay lightly and see just that first little touch of impression, what goes in, that'll give you some idea. And I've actually got one more theory to try out. I really need a bin full of water. You guys need to just stay wet over here until I get a chance to go clean you. Stay wet. Let's see. Under the paper that's spongy. Oh, the one more thing I was going to try was the relief version. I like it. Throw it on a paper towel and see if that doesn't get it just a little bit of density, so it'll set something in. Actually, See if that makes a difference. The man texted in. He's smart. So we will trust his smartness. So this is the other option, is using the relief to give you the effect. So a lot of that background comes through and does leave more impression than. So rather than trying the debossing or the debossing, embossing actually gets you more of the jellyfish effect. And they're definitely best on their first roll through. So they'll hold enough paint for one good layer, and then everything after that is more subtle and effective. I've seen someone pointed me to a really cool device that I'm probably going to have to try to figure out how to build at some point. Where it's basically you have a roller, and then a paint roller and your roller, and they run in tandem as you're rolling up the wall. So yeah, that definitely intrigues my crazy designer brain to be like, I bet I could build me one of those. So I'm gonna have to go play with that at some point. But yeah, so that one was a good one. Actually, these guys. So yeah, like this, you can see in the embossing version, the flat, it will actually give you a decent bit of detail. Let me do this one too. Making a mess of everything and going through all of my paper. Do I have enough left on here if I get you wet? Oh, I got paper wet. Definitely not a paper crafter. I've gotten too used to clay. It's fun to be messy with it. All right, let's see. Let's get you soaking wet and wet you up again. So hopefully you can transfer enough. I do need my handles. Handles make it easier. There's lots of situations where the handles don't matter, but I definitely think when you're playing with this paint idea, you need some kind of handles. And again, I'm kind of tempted to try to figure out like a paint roller handle, or at least something that doesn't give you that trim edge. And I failed again. Let's do this. I don't know. All this wet might be too wet. Out of the way so it doesn't lift my handle. And I got too wet, not enough paint. Let's try that again. More paint. Foamy paint now. That might be a problem. I don't think this paint is meant to be stamped with. You know, you never know until you try stuff, do you? It's so foamy, it's hilarious. Alrighty, let's see. Nope, it's too foamy and weird. It's getting lost in all the under details. So, yep, a lot of these are not going to get you a lot of the intricate detail ones are not going to do very good with painting. There's plenty of designs that I sell that do have the potential to lay paint. You kind of need to stick to that design type. See what you do on. So yeah, some of their body lines come through. And some of it just becomes messy. Okay, I'm going to go wash these. So that means I probably need to go. Or I get to cutting out the other stuff. But we can finish on a quickie. Covered in mess. All right, that paper's garbage. This is a mess. Everything's a mess, and it's great. I love it. Oof. Okay. There we are. That was the success. This I know how to do. They can play with clay. Maybe we shouldn't let me try to play with paint and rollers. I'll get it right one of these days. I will figure it out. I just have to get determined. So again, the gold pieces and parts that caught all that gold are what should transfer paint if you get a good version of bringing paint onto the roller and dispersing it. So I would think a sponge bed, you roll through, you have a sponge bed with a paint that is the proper consistency. You have to experiment till you find that. And then one or two passes tops and you re-wet. And make sure you're using patterns that are more or less built. Oh, that's really fascinating how gross that is. Less paint. That's not the sponge anymore. I pulled the sponge off. And it's still, oh, that was attached to the sponge. What the heck? Oh, now I see. Okay. Now it's at the point where I can rinse it. All right. Whatever. I will go do all my cleanup and then I will probably cut a few little medallions out of that or maybe try. I might make those into some beads. I have to play with making those into beads. You guys might like that. I might come back and make those into beads in a few minutes, but you probably don't want to hang out while I'm cleaning. So I'm going to go clean and then I may or may not be right back. Have a good one. And find the right buttons.